Thank you very much for coming to our conference today on Iranian regime's nuclear weapons program. I am delighted to have here with us two very distinguished American colleagues, Ambassador John Bolton to my right and Ambassador Robert Joseph to my left. They have kindly accepted our invitation to come all the way from the US to speak for us today, and I'm very grateful to both of you. We will also have the chance to hear from Mr. Mohammad Mohaddishin, who is the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee of the National Council of Resistance of Iran, who, as you know, is the main organized democratic opposition to the totalitarian regime of Iran. And the NCRI has had a key role in exposing the secret nuclear program of Iran for the first time. They did it in 2002. You all know that 12 years since the revelation of secret sites in Natanz and Iraq, the international community still pursues an answer to a persistent question: the nature and objective of the Iranian nuclear program. The question is, was it designed as a military program with the objective of obtaining the bomb? This is the key, the crucial question that must be answered. The proliferation of nuclear weapons is a dreadful prospect, and the fear of this situation is rightly compounded in the case of Iran on account of Tehran's behavior as the main state sponsor of terrorism and the ideological source of extremist Islam in the world's most unstable region. Over the years, new information about the clandestine Iranian nuclear program, particularly by the NCRI, which collects information through its extended and efficient network inside Iran, has made it abundantly clear that the program was much more expansive, more advanced than it was initially thought. In our research, we have found NCRI and PMOI information to be reliable. As the world is trying to find a solution to this crisis, and the P5+1 are pushing for a negotiated settlement, the International Committee in Search of Justice found it imperative to review all the long outstanding issues regarding the nature of the Iranian nuclear program. The report by the IAEA that you have in your hands is the result of several months of research and review. It has drawn on all International Atomic Energy Agency reports since 2003, on reports by the Iranian opposition, by NCRI and PMOI, and on studies and reports by credible think tanks and non-governmental organizations. We have also reviewed the Iranian regime's response to all the outstanding questions. In the report you will see there is an executive summary, short summary, quite self-explanatory, but in spite that it's self-explanatory, allow me to underscore a few points. The most striking finding the study established was that two systems have been functionally working during the whole period under study. A civilian system includes Iran's atomic energy organizations and universities. And a military system constitutes the secret aspect of this program. But contrary to the previous perception, the two systems do not work in parallel. We found that these two structures resemble two concentric circles working together simultaneously as a tandem. According to available information, records, and documents, the military aspect of the program has continued and has been and remains today at the heart of the program. The civilian section of the program has provided a very suitable and plausible conduit for procuring and obtaining dual-purpose technology and equipment ultimately used in the military section. Some organs at the highest level of the Iranian regime, including offices and centers affiliated with the president's office, have all been involved in smuggling or skirting sanctions to obtain illicit or dual-purpose equipment for these projects. The geographic locations of the centers engaged in design and research aspect of the program are all of them are located in the military zone in eastern Tehran. Authorities and senior officials of the two systems have changed positions and responsibilities over the years, but always the same people changing different positions and responsibilities. It has been common practice to utilize scientists and researchers in the civilian part of the project for the military program, and conversely to lend staff from the military aspect to the civilian section in order to increase their proficiency and expertise by utilizing each other's facilities and centers. Universities affiliated with the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and the Ministry of Defense act as a bridge between these two programs, and both have played a major role. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard commanders have been involved in the nuclear program from its early stages. In the report, you will find the identities and the faces, the pictures of a dozen of key Revolutionary Guard commanders and officers involved in the nuclear and weapons of mass destruction program. The interesting thing is that some of these people, especially the head of SP&D, have been asked by the International Atomic Energy Agency to be interviewed many times, and the agency never has succeeded in getting these interviews from the regime. Today, you can see the identities and faces of these people. Tehran has worked systematically on all the necessary aspects of obtaining nuclear weapons: enrichment, weaponization, warhead, and delivery. Our research on all the 10 topics of dispute showed that in 5 issues there have been no progress, and in 5 others there has been little progress. It's not very encouraging 4 days before the deadline for a result of the negotiation. Tehran's attitude has been systematically one of denial, deception, concealment, rejection of facts, politicization, and reluctant and partial acknowledgement only when all other alternatives have been exhausted. Tehran has been engaged in a strategic grand deception. The Iranian leadership has insisted upon continuing its clandestine nuclear project despite all the damage that it has inflicted on the Iranian society. This indicates that the regime views the nuclear program as crucial for its final strategic goals, and even crucial to the regime's survival. We want to warn the Western governments, this is the aim of this report, to warn the Western governments that are currently negotiating with the regime that it will be a huge mistake to have a comprehensive agreement without demanding that Iran resolve all the military aspects of the program and expose them willingly and thoroughly. There can be no assurance as long as so many open questions remain about the nature of the Iranian nuclear program, its projects, and its key players. The necessary objective of preventing Iran from obtaining the nuclear bomb is very far from what President Obama has carried out in practice. The policy that was pursued and carried out by the Obama administration in the past 6 years has not prevented the Ayatollahs from inching closer to obtaining the bomb. On the other hand, the sanctions that have been imposed since 2011, primarily on the initiative of the US Congress, have been comparatively effective. It is common knowledge that Iran came to negotiation due to international sanction. By offering concessions at the negotiating table, the US administration has emboldened Khamenei to back away and increase Tehran demands. Thus, any possible agreement with Iran should include complete implementation of the UN Security Council resolutions, an absolute, total halt to all uranium enrichment, acceptance of the additional protocol, and snap inspections in all suspicious sites. Any concessions on these issues, any agreement less ambitious than that, would open the way for the regime to obtain the nuclear weapon. And this is something that no democratic country in this world, unless it wants to commit suicide, can never accept.